What if the reason your anxiety never seems to get better is because what you're dealing with might not be anxiety in the way it's usually understood? For years, you've likely heard the same explanations. Your heart races, your body feels tense, your mind never fully switches off. So you're told to breathe through it, to challenge your thoughts, to calm yourself down. And for many people, that approach genuinely helps. But for many autistic adults, that picture can be more complicated. Because what you are experiencing often isn't the fear of what might happen in the future. It's a deep, ongoing exhaustion from what's happening right now. You're not constantly worried. Your nervous system may simply be struggling to fully disengage. Like a light switch that's been stuck in the on position for so long, that system behind it, it's starting to wear down. Today, I want to explain why strategies focused only on calming the mind don't always bring relief, and what may actually be happening inside the body instead. I'm Tomasz, and this is Clinical Breakdown. From the outside, autism-related overload and anxiety can look almost identical. Avoiding social situations, cancelling plans in the last minute, feeling irritable, withdrawn, or completely shut down when tired. When clinicians see the pattern, especially in adults who appear articulate, employed, and outwardly functional, the most accessible explanation is often generalized anxiety. And that makes sense on the surface. But here's where the mismatch can begin. Traditional anxiety models focus primarily on emotion. They ask what you're afraid of. What thought is driving this reaction? Autistic overwhelm operates differently. It's driven less by fear and more by load. Instead of reacting to a catastrophic thought, the body may be responding to sensory input, unpredictability, social complexity, or sustained cognitive effort. When the nervous system is overloaded, reasoning your way out of it can become deeply tiring. Not because you're doing it wrong, but because the system under strain isn't primarily cognitive. Over time, many people begin blaming themselves, assuming they are failing treatment. In reality, the nervous system may simply need a support rather than correction. In many anxiety disorders, the distress often comes from catastrophizing, imagining the worst-case scenarios. For many autistic adults, the stress comes from something else entirely. Uncertainty often is described as intolerance of uncertainty, but that phrase can be misleading. It isn't about pessimism or overthinking. It's about how the brain processes missing information. Think of the autistic brain like high-precision navigating system. Many people can move through their day without clear direction, and they improvise. They see how it goes. But this kind of brain needs data to feel regulated. It needs to know the plan, the timing, the expectations, the exit options. So when someone says, "Let's just play it by ear," the response isn't excitement, it's physiological stress. The body reacts as if it's been dropped into the unfamiliar terrain without a map. And here's the key detail. The moment you get the plan, the agenda, the structure, the boundaries, the so-called anxiety often drops almost immediately. That tells us something important. This wasn't fear of the event. It was the strain of navigation without enough information. You don't need the reassurance that everything will be fine. You just need the clarity. Many autistic adults describe meltdowns or shutdowns that feel sudden and unexplained. One moment you're coping, next you're overwhelmed, withdrawn, or unable to speak. Those episodes are often labeled as panic attacks, but biologically, something else might be happening. There is a sensory system called Interception. It's the body internal monitoring system, the dashboard. It's meant to give an early signals. I'm getting tired, this is becoming too much, I need to slow down. For many autistic people, that signal doesn't arrive gradually. There's a delay. The body responding to sensory input, social pressure, and cognitive demand. Stress hormones rise, heart rate increase. The system is working harder and harder, but this internal signal still saying everything is fine, until it isn't. Instead of a gradual build-up, the system shifts abruptly to maximum, from manageable to overwhelming in seconds. This isn't instability, it's a lack of early warnings, but the time the distress becomes noticeable, the system is already depleted. Now consider what happened afterwards. You're home. The environment is quieter, the demands are over, and yet your body still feels tense, alert, unable to settle. This relates to how the nervous system returns to baseline. The body has activation system, the gas pedal, and it has calming systems, the brake. In many autistic adults, research suggests the calming system doesn't engage as efficiently. So even when the situation is safe, the body stays partially activated. That's why rest doesn't always feel restorative, why relaxation techniques sometimes feel ineffective. You may be doing everything right, breathing, lying down, reducing stimulation, but the nervous system hasn't fully received the signal that it's okay to stand down. This isn't a failure of mindset, it's physiological delay. Another crucial difference lies in sensory processing. For most people, background sensations fade quickly, a hum, light, texture. For many autistic people, the filtering doesn't happen automatically. The brain continues processing each stimulus as relevant information. This creates a state of ongoing physiological alertness, not because something bad is expected, but the sensory system never fully disengages. Over time, this constant input wears the system down. Feeling on edge becomes a reasonable response to an environment that never truly quiets. This distinction matters because if everything is framed as anxiety, the solution often becomes push through it. More exposure, more tolerance, more masking. But when overload is the issue, force tends to increase fragility rather than resilience. Support looks different. Reducing sensory input isn't avoidance, it's regulation. Structure isn't rigidity, it's stability. Leaving early isn't failure, it's pacing. Accommodation allows recovery. If you spend years believing you simply couldn't get better, this is important to hear. You didn't fail. Your nervous system may have been asking for a different kind of care, not less effort, but a better match between your biology and your environment. I am Tomasz, and this is Clinical Breakdown. Please tell me in comments, when your body feels overwhelmed, does reducing stimulation help more than trying to reason your way through it?